We're a third of the way through the year of elections. It's a good time to, I guess, take stock and see where we are and recalibrate if we need to for the year ahead. Maybe the first thing is there haven't actually been many surprises, even where there's been change. Indonesia as an example, it's been change which broadly has been expected. So in that sense, I suppose, for those who were thinking the year of elections would be the year of surprises, that's not what we've seen. What's different about the age of elections is governments are much more active in the economy. One measure of industrial policy globally suggests the number of industrial policy efforts by governments are up sevenfold in the last half a dozen years or so. The fact that governments are much more active means even when we get calibrated change in elections, even when the results aren't as surprised but change occurs, there will be changes in the way governments act in the economy and what that actually means, which firms might benefit, which sectors might benefit, and even which geographies might be doing better, or the counterpoint of all of those, of course, which might be handicapped under the future regime. Continuity is likely to come in India. This quite long election process, and the first half of the year finishes with the European Commission elections, and there definitely will be change and some big global issues at stake. But most people, of course, thinking about the US presidential election in November, I don't have to update my bubble dolls, which is quite handy. Again, we're seeing the oldest election pairing in US presidential history, the second oldest pairing being Trump and Biden the first time around. And maybe that brings us to the key point. You might worry about how much change comes from election or whether there are surprises, but I think actually what concerns much of the commentary is to what extent will we elect or re-elect, populists. I don't think we should be as worried about that as many people are. I think the reality is populists, first of all, haven't necessarily been bad for the economy at all. In some cases, you might say the UK's problems a couple of years ago were a populist outcome, but Duterte, again, to use him as example, the doubling of infrastructure spending. When Trump was elected the first time around, the stock market actually welcomed that investment. If we get right down to it, populists often focus a lot of their policy energy on trade and migration. If they go too hard on those areas, that can be economically damaging in a macro sense, but certainly it doesn't have to be. And we actually have few examples of economies where populists have gone too hard. So rather than being worried about either surprises or populists, I think maybe we should spend more time just focusing on ensuring that the elections that are occurring deliver outcomes that are broadly accepted. If we can get that outcome, then I think we'll call 2024 the year of elections as a win.